thoughts on tonight's episode of Arrow titled Blood Debts. And starting out, I mean, I feel like I've been doing this like all week because I have been, but it's good to be back after what felt like a really long winter break. But it's nice to actually come back to a really solid episode. And this is so far this season started. I just want to put this up front. This season has been really hit or miss for me overall as a whole season. Just because I feel like season 3 was such a disappointment to me personally that I feel like the show's kind of like fighting its way up to air. Like if you guys know what I'm trying to say, but these last couple of episodes I think have been really really solid. Just kick off my thoughts on tonight's episode. Immediately I like how the start of the episode, obviously they show the funeral scene, and how eventually at the end of the episode we find out that Felicity isn't the one in the grave. And unfortunately I knew that was coming a mile away. The marketing for the episode made it seem like it's so obvious that it's Felicity that's gonna die, and of course we find out that it's not her that's in the grave. And as I've had my problems with Felicity for the last year now, because I hate how the writers of the show have put Felicity up on this pedestal and bring all the other auxiliary female characters down here, and it's like, you can have female characters on equal footing. Just because Felicity's a love interest, they feel the need to, put her up high up on this pedestal, and it's like, come on, you don't need to do that. And it's really just the whole Olicity thing. I'm tired of it at this point. And even watching this episode, I think this is a better episode because they drew, obviously Felicity being paralyzed. I'll get into that a little later. But seeing that Felicity wasn't as heavily featured in the episode, I felt like it gave the episode, the show itself, a breath of fresh air. It's and working on the dynamic of the team that's already there instead of having just the same old, Felicity makes an appropriate joke when she does in this episode. And I don't know, I just feel like this episode was better because she wasn't as featured. I mean, look, Felicity isn't always a great character or a bad character. I bag on her all the time and say how terrible she is and blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, she's not that bad of a character. I just don't like what the writers have done to her as a character and how they plummeted up her in front of every other female character on the show just because they want the shippers to be all happy, make all the Olicity fans happy. And I just don't like that the writers have done that. It's like, you can have a show without having romance as the main thing in your show. Yeah. But again, I like how this episode starting out, just immediately back to the action of things. Oliver going out to find Dark. Kind of very reminiscent of season 2 to me. Obviously, this quality wise, this is not season 2, but the start of the episode reminded me of their mid-season premiere when Oliver was looking for the man in the skull mask, who at the time we didn't know what, or we knew was Sebastian Blood. And this kind of felt really reminiscent to that. And overall, as an episode, I liked it a lot. Anarchy as a villain is still really hit or miss. I hated him in this first episode, but this episode I feel like he was slightly better, but I'm still not impressed with him as a villain. He's really nothing more than another villain of the week to me. And it's the fact that because all this comic book stuff is set in the real world, they can't all, especially being on the CW, certain characters from the DC mythos that obviously are great characters in the comics don't necessarily translate well to the smaller or even big screen. And I feel like Anarchy is one of those villains that so far they really haven't utilized well at all. If they just give him another name, it wouldn't have been any different. I just don't like the fact that you had to use Anarchy just because, they show the fans of the show, we're gonna use Anarchy. He's gonna be in the season, and yet he's been an unimpressive villain. So besides that, again, I was loving the dynamic of the whole team in the entire episode, and I like how again all season Laurel is done taking Oliver's shit. That was one of my favorite things about the episode because Laurel has been treated like shit by fans and the writers of this show for so long, and anytime Oliver does something stupid and he calls out Laurel and she calls him out, fans want to pick on Laurel because she points it out, but Oliver was a dick in this episode, and she called him out on it. And it's good for Laurel. I love it seeing Laurel stand up for herself more. And even talking to her dad about it, he's still worrying about her. She's like, yeah, I can handle myself. He's like, yeah, I know, but as a parent, blah blah blah. And I feel as I feel like they keep bringing that up again and again and again and again. Like every few episodes, Quentin has to be like, "Oh, I'm just looking out for you, my daughter. I worry for you," and she's like, "I know I can handle it." It's like I feel like they say that like every like 2 episodes now. So it's like okay, we get it. Like we get it at this point. Again, like I loving seeing Laurel just not take all of her shit anymore. That's an improvement in the writing of her as a character, but at the same time, she's still being sidelined, which I still don't like. And I was even liking the scene between like her and Thea in the hospital, and Thea opening up to Laurel and talking about the whole thing with Damien Dark and how the bloodlust was taken away, and just her dealing with that. It's just like I like seeing that kind of dynamic, because like I think because Felicity was like kind of out of commission for the episode, it gave the writers a chance to flesh out some more of the other characters. And I think the show is better when there's not hammering over the head. All the city. It's like, seriously, like, develop your characters and treat them with respect. Don't favor other characters. Like, treat them all the same way. Think about how fans will react to them. And do your best to make a good show. And I think this episode overall, the villain aside and other minor nitpicky things, again, is a really, really solid episode. And for a mid-season premiere, I actually really enjoyed it. And in all honesty, I like this episode better than I like the Flash episode, because the Flash episode had a lot of problems. There's kind of a weak villain, but anyways, this is Arrow. We're not talking about Flash, but same universe. But let me just get back into Arrow. And I like seeing Lila here for a second, because I feel like this season she's kind of MIA. I liked it more when Lila was able to do more and be out in the field more with the team. But of course, now that she has a kid with Diggle, it's kind of hard to do that now. She's kind of like been stuck being a stay-at-home mom, I guess. I kind of like to see more of Lila, like out in the field with them. But hey, I understand why. Like as a character, she's a mom, whatever. But still, I like seeing Lila, and I like that scene where she's like, "Don't talk to him like as the ghost. Like talk to as she's talking to Diggle. Like talk to Andy like as your brother." And the whole thing, the whole dynamic between Andy and John, I feel like as I'm watching it, like it's kind of the same repetitive thing for the last few episodes. But I hope it gets to a point where like Andy becomes an asset to the team, because like the actor, like in this episode, I think this is like the best dynamic we've seen between the two. I'm still like on the fence about the whole bringing him back when like, they've done that to like pretty much every other character who's died except for Oliver's mom and Tommy. But I like the whole dynamic between Andy and John has really progressed these last few episodes, and I like how tonight, like they finally open up at, like brother to brother talking, and we found out more about Andy's past and who's the dealer. I don't necessarily like that, because I feel like that's another dumb racial stereotype that they didn't need. They could have said he had a trouble past without him being a dealer, because then that falls into more dumb racial stereotypes that I'm tired of seeing on these damn shows. But yeah, I'm really. I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy, because I keep bringing up all the negatives. But yeah, again, I'm trying to be as positive as I can. I'm sorry, it just sometimes this show just does just stupid things that I don't remember until I actually start talking about it. All right, well, what else did I enjoy? Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes here. That final confrontation between Damien Dark and Oliver at Dark's house, and knowing that like his wife is like in the know about what he's doing, and that she's part of what he's doing with the whole Genesis project. Obviously, we're gonna find out more about that when the season goes on. But I swear to God, if it's another like Star City's in trouble, like if that's another situation where Star City is in trouble, I'm seriously gonna think about giving up on this show. Because I feel like season 3, like the whole villain arc thing was dumb. The whole Roswell Gold thing was dumb. And the fact that they had like, oh, the Star City's in trouble again. Even like they kept made in a joke in the episode like, oh, city's under attack. Must be May. When they did that last year, I really hope this is a situation where it's like that, where like, oh, the city's in danger. It's like I want it to be either a bigger threat or a smaller threat. Like obviously, like Damon Dark thinks the world needs a reset, and hopefully that's a bigger scale than what the villains and their motivation or whatever has been in the past. Like Slade obviously taking over the city because that's precious to Oliver. I don't understand why they had to do that with season 3. Again, I feel like going back to the negative things, but back to that confrontation, and seeing how when Oliver like said to Dark, like like I saved her family, he's like because of like that not the bond, but it's like because of like the honor that Damien Dark has, he's like I'll give you a few weeks left to live off. Obviously he's saying he's like I'm still gonna kill you, but because you saved my family, whatever, like you're good for now. And even his wife saying, like, oh, you should have killed the Green Arrow. Look, I was like, wow, like, that's actually, like, that makes it a little more interesting. But even then, like in the fight scene and just the tension in that scene, like, now, like, Damien Dark is becoming more of a menacing villain to me. And this episode kind of highlighted that, even though he was only in it for really, like, one scene. I'm looking forward to what's going to happen next. Of course, again, no episode's perfect. I've already brought up some of the nitpicky things I had with my problems with the episode. Something else that I think that really bothers me kind of stems back to the whole issue that has been with the show since it started, and that how fans have constantly compared it to being, oh, this is just a Green Arrow ripping off a Batman thing. It's not even Green Arrow, blah, blah, blah. And for the first, like, up until, like, mid-season 3, I was like, okay, come on, like, it's trying to be its own thing. Felicity being paralyzed. And she's basically already filling the Oracle spot, and now she's paralyzed. These writers need to stop. They need to fucking stop. Seriously, like, this is Green Arrow, not Batman. They need to understand the difference. Felicity is not Oracle in any means. Felicity is not that interesting of a character. And these writers of Arrow need to fucking stop. Like, seriously. I don't want to get into full rant mode. It's late. I'm tired. I've had a long day. But honestly, the fact that they're making Felicity paralyzed and basically implying that she's going to become Arrow's version of Oracle pisses me off. It's shit like this that makes me not want to watch the show. Shit like this that makes me not want to see the show because of Felicity and the writing of Felicity. And I'm fed up. As a fan, I'm fucking fed up. I'm sorry for my language, but I'm tired of this. I'm honestly tired of it. I'm tired of being in a situation where they're in a Green Arrow show. I'm a Green Arrow fan, but they aren't making this a Green Arrow show. More and more, like, this season was a step in the right direction because they're actually embracing the more Green Arrow-ness of the character, which I think it kind of should have been a little sooner. But now, just the fact that they're basically making Felicity Oracle, I'm almost fucking done with this show, honestly. And something better be done to make Felicity walk again, because I'm not about to tolerate her being Oracle. Like, I'm fed up. I'm sorry. That was probably one of my biggest problems with this episode. I would have rather have had them kill her off, because at least then she got, like, at least have, like, an honorable ending, instead of them like, oh, well, she's just gonna be like Oracle. You guys all love Oracle, right? It's like, no, like, we're tired of the Batman shit in this show. You brought in a Batman villain, Ra's al Ghul, to be a main villain. Oliver, for the first, like, 3 years in the show, was basically Bruce Wayne. The darkness and the greenness of the show was already, like, Batman. That was the whole idea for this, was you're ripping off the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. And it's just, I'm done. Like, I'm done. And the writer's going to continue to do this stupid shit and not be able to become more of a Green Arrow show, then I'm I'm done. Like, I'm sorry. So, rant over. But yeah, other than that, I didn't like Oliver being a dick in this episode. I did like how, obviously, Laura was able to stand up for herself, and all the other things I mentioned before that I actually enjoyed about the episode. Again, I enjoyed them. Again, a really, really solid episode, a good, really solid mid-season premiere. Despite my issues with it, and despite the fact that, I'm almost ready to give up, I still am looking forward to the show for now. So I think that's going to be it for me, guys. So if you guys do like what you see here, go ahead and hit subscribe below. I do review Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, and tomorrow night I'll be reviewing the pilot of Legends of Tomorrow, if you guys want to check that out. Yesterday I just did my live review and reaction to the new Suicide Squad trailer. I have my Star Wars movie reviews and all these other reviews and stuff all up on my channel, if you guys want to check those out. So I think that's going to be it for me, guys. So until next time, have a good one.